Somewhere in the desert and the stairs made out of sand stood one of the columns collapsing into the pile. The crystal gems walked over, looking around, with Spinel at the rear, Stephen sitting on the shoulders and even his hands planted against her forehead. Stephen panted, sweating beadily all over his body. Water, so thirsty for water. Well, we'll only be there for a bit, Stevie, Spinel reassured, wiping some sweat off of his forehead. Garnet stared straight ahead. All we have to find whatever's turned into the desert, Emma says. It's buildings and columns without roofs. Stairs that lead to nowhere, exclaimed Pearl. This is out of control. MFS walked behind Spinel and Stephen. I guess we better. She then leapfrogged over the two, sliding down a sand pile. Roll over there, heh. Pearl frowned. That was a bit unnecessary. Really unnecessary, Spinel added. MFS didn't look around or so to be too bothered. No. Excuse me? Pearl snapped, Spinel's rolling her eyes. Suddenly a roar was heard in the distance. Spinel clenched Stephen's knees closer out of fear, as Stephen was just as scared as she was. What was that? Let go! Let's go already, MFS yelled. Keep an eye on for Stephen, Garnet told Spinel. We'll take care of this. What if something eats me? Stephen cried. Spinel pooped his nose. I won't let nothing eat you, Stevie. Don't worry, wet one. Garnet wiped the sweat off of Stephen's face and flicked it back. There's nothing that can harm you. See you soon. Okay, said Stephen, as the free gems headed off to investigate. Stephen hopped down Spinel's shoulders and ran over to a column to find some shade. It's so desert, he mumbled, pulling his shirt over his face. Spinel stood beside him, looking around for any danger. A groan was heard, alerting the both of them. There it is again, stated Spinel. Nothing can harm me, declared Stephen. I'm the wet one. As they all looked around, a large shadowy figure appeared from one of the behind the columns. Stephen yelped, and Spinel, lifting him in his arms, ducking behind a column. The figure got closer. Good thing this column was here, Stephen quickly commented right before the column had collapsed. They turned around, meeting a pink lion's haze. Spinel backed away, holding Stephen closer, but bumped into a glowing sand wall. She first had brought up a fist at the lion. Leave us alone! But the lion stood there. It yawned and licked his lips before hopping onto the ground, sleeping. Spinel and Stephen looked in surprise, glancing at each other. Spinel looked cautiously, stepped towards the lion, backing away when it flicked its ear. When Stephen and she got closer, the lion lifted its head. Spinel gently laid a hand on its muzzle and pulled away. Don't! But the lion then didn't snap its jaws or even growl. Slightly calmer, Spinel pet the lion's muzzle, and then it relaxed under her breath. Aww, Stephen escaped from the pink gem's arm and then started to pet the lion, so much to Spinel's surprise and relief. You just want attention, don't you? She stroked the mammal's mane. Your mane, it's so soft. Spinel continued to pet the lion's muzzle. Hey, buddy, how did you get there? I'm so glad you're not attacking us right now. It's so strange. I've never seen a pink lion before. I like it, Stephen proclaimed as he laid on the lion's head. He's like cotton candy of the jungle. The lion flopped on its side and Stephen fell over, but he climbed up on its side. I've always wanted a mammal friend, but I thought. He then fell over and sat up again. It would be a goldfish or a dinosaur. Spinel laughed and lying on the lion's mane. Dinosaurs have been extinct for over 65 million years, sweetie. I guess fate had other plans for the Steven universe. The lion had laid a paw over Stephen, and stars lit up on the boy's body. His new best friend, Lion. They had laid there for a second before an explosion of sand covered them. The gems' voices was heard again. Stephen, Spinel, and the lion sat up in shock and took the sand off of them. The gems were walking towards them. Amethyst, bubble it away! Wait, Pearl ordered. Amethyst flung a red pillow at the green gem and embedded it and caught it. No, quit being jealous, Pearl. My kill, my keep. Pearl huffed. I'm not jealous. Just be careful. If you drop it on the sand, it will rebuild everything. Stephen gasped. They're coming back! Quick! Put my head in your mouth! He opened the lion's maw and tried to stick his head in. Stephen, don't you dare! Spinel frantically pulled Stephen away and froze when Pearl called out, Spinel, what's going on? What are you doing? Spinel panicked and placed Stephen down and raised her hands reassuringly. It's fine, Pearl. Stephen's unharmed, and the lion is tame. But that's impossible, said Pearl, not believing her. No, it isn't, Stephen retorted. I taught him to say, I love you. He opened up the lion's maw again and moved his lips. I love you. Spinel couldn't fight back but to laugh. Before looking away, Amethyst grinned. Aw, that's so sweet. I love you too. Pearl groaned and dispelled their spear. Get your hands out of that fiend's mouth. It's a lion, correct, Spinel. The pale gem ignored her. We have to get to the desert glass out of the desert. She tried to snatch the pillow from Amethyst. I got it, insisted Amethyst. Let's go, you two, said Garnet as the other gems had went off to find the warp pad. Come on, little one, Spinel grasped Stephen's hand. Stephen looked sad. Okay, give me a sec. He turned to Lion. Hey, Lion, we gotta go. I had a lot of fun, and I really like you get me. The Lion stared blankly at him, and Spinel patted his head. Yeah, maybe we'll see you some other time. Come on, Stephen. The others are waiting. Stephen nodded. All right, bye, Lion. Lion, don't make it harder for us. Spinel got Stephen onto her back and shoulders again, and they followed the other gems as Pearl continued to bicker. Amethyst, that pillow needs to be contained. Yeah, but you better listen, Pearl agreed Spinel. Yeah, Amethyst usually casually brushed it off. I know what to do with it. The lion sat there and stared at them. With the desert glass sitting atop of the pillow fort, Spinel and Stephen and Amethyst kept undering it. A scratching noise on the door woke them up. Spinel, what, huh? As she got up, Stephen woke up the feeling of her arms uncoiling. Spinel, what was that? Amethyst grumbled, somehow still asleep. Shut your mouth, or Stephen. Spinel looked crossly at the purple gem, and Stephen sat up, curious. I thought gems didn't need sleep. We don't, Amethyst sighed. It feels good, though. She's right about that, The scratching continued. Spinel groaned and walked over towards the door. All right, I'm coming, but whoever you are, she accidentally opened the door and jumped back in surprise to see the lion. Lion! Stephen yelled excitedly, running to Spinel's side. Oh my gosh, you're back! Spinel, he came all this way to see us. Spinel now tried to match his excitement. Yeah, that's truly. She paused as the lion tried to enter the house, but then she pushed him back and closed the door behind him. Whoa, no, Lion, you're staying outside. But he's a cat, said Stephen retorted. I know, but there's a big difference between a cute domestic cat and a king of the jungle. Spinel made a cute face before changing to a serious expression with sharp fangs. And a predator who could swallow you whole. He didn't eat me, Stephen pointed out, the lion who just continued to stare at him. Besides, he came back for us. I bet he wants to play. Spinel tilted her head. Like what? Stephen then stared at the white ribbon and then around her waist and pulled it. Surprisingly, somehow it got untied and waved like a ribbon at the lion tail, but the lion didn't react. Spinel deadpanned. Stephen, can I have that back? Stephen handed the ribbon back. All right, we'll think of something else. Stephen, please don't do this. Trust me. All right, Lion, get in position. Stephen shouted, staring down on the top of the cliff where Spinel and the lion were at the bottom. The lion stared at Spinel and went back to the boy. I'm gonna jump. Catch me. The lion didn't move. Spinel just was about ready to catch him. Come on, Lion. I'm falling. Help me. Lion blinked. Stephen then sighed in defeat. All right, you're obviously not going to do this. He tripped over and fell off the ledge. Spinel stretched her arms and caught him in midair. The lion walked to the side. Of course. Game, Stephen finished. Stephen had held a tennis ball and waved it towards the lion. Spinel. Okay, I'm going to throw the ball. Here it comes. He tossed the ball upwards and was ready to fall beside Lion. What? Exclaimed Stephen. That throw was so good. He then ran over to the lion and picked up the ball. Lion, all you gotta do is catch it with your mouth, see? Spinel tensed up. Don't put that in your mouth. Stephen then stopped before he could do that inside. The lion began to pat away, leaving Spinel and Stephen still standing. Well, we've tried, Spinel said. Cats aren't really playful types. Wait, Stephen, we got an idea. We can get him some pizza. Pizza, but please, Stephen begged, clutching the rim of her dress. giving her another look. Cats love fish, everyone loves pizza, so you gotta love this, Stephen gestured to the lion as Spinel walked towards the restaurant. The boy pressed himself against the glass. Whoa, this place is huge. Wait, here? We're gonna blow off some mines. Yeah, and hope that they don't scream their heads off, Spinel added, reluctantly guiding Stephen. Lion remained in the spot inside the pizzeria. Kiki was at the counter. Ronaldo was typing on his computer, and Onion was eating the pizza. Oh yeah, hey Spinel, Kiki politely greeted. What are you and Stephen having? Hey Kiki, Spinel said as she rested her hands on the counter. We're just here to get a large one today. With some extra fish, Stephen quickly added. Kiki blinked in surprise. You two must be hungry. We're ordering drink for free, Spinel began before Ronald spat up his drink. Spinel's pregnant? He exclaimed. Spinel stood there in disbelief when commenting, blushing cherry red. So Stephen answered for her, No, she's not. We have a giant pet lion outside. Kiki looked suspicious. You're not a lion, are you? Stephen laughed. That's funny. I'm not, right, Spinel? Spinel snapped back into reality. Yeah. There's a lion outside. I believe it, yelled Ronaldo. There's lots of weird stuff happening in Beach City today. You know, if you already read my blog, Keep Beach City Weird, I also have buttons. He opened up his coat to reveal buttons all in his white shirt. Spinel just scrunched her nose. No thanks. Just come outside and see for yourself, said Stephen as the three exited the restaurant. At first, Stephen seemed confident, but Spinel looked outside Ronald and shouted, It's invisible. Stephen opened his eyes. Hell, what? He and Spinel went outside, only saw Kiki, Ronald, and Onion, but no lion. Wait, where did the lion go? Spinel turned her head around. But he's not invisible, Stephen retorted Ronaldo. He's pink. Ronaldo, though, was feeling the air aimlessly. How can it be invisible and pink? Stephen chuckled nervously at Kiki. Kiki, listen, what Stephen's... There's probably nothing out there, Kiki said. Gee, Spinel, I know you're supportive of your boy and all, but encouraging his imagination is really stretching it. Sorry. She did walk back inside, not giving them the time to reply. Ronald shoved his way past Spinel. Bet you're not even pregnant either. But that's not how Gems, she shouted, but paused, sighing the defeat as face-palmed. Stephen then hung his head in shame. Spinel and Stephen then walked back to the beach house with the pink gem grasping his wrist and crossed the look on her face. Stephen even was feeling ashamed of himself, knowing that he got to go home, but they had stopped at the large pink cat crawling at the door. Hey, Spinel said, letting go of Stephen and tugging the lion's mane. You're not going in there, and why would you run off like that? You made us look like fools. Unfazed by her scolding, the lion broke down the door, and they entered the house. Spinel and Stephen stepped in as the lion stepped in front of MFS's fort. MFS yawned, not seeing the lion. Keep it down, you guys, and fell back to sleep. Get out! Spinel angrily scolded the animal, but Stephen didn't even notice the lion was staring at him. At all, he ran up to his bed and grabbed the dessert glass. Are you after this pillow? Stephen questioned, his eyes tearing up. We've been trying to play with you, feed you, cause we thought we were best friends. Did that all mean nothing to you? Spinel blinked in surprise. The lion didn't reply and hopped up onto the upper floor. The boy then ran downstairs outside the porch. Fine, I don't care. No, Stephen, don't. Spinel frowned, caught Stephen's hand while he was holding a pillow. Don't throw this, it could... Stephen shrugged against her grasp. Why shouldn't I? It's just a stupid pillow. With his other hand, he tossed the pillow over a good distance, and the ground rumbled. Tall sand structures rose from the sand. Stephen and Spinel looked in fear and running down the hill. Stephen, Spinel, Pearl called from the porch. Desert Glass, it's rebuilding the castle. She turned to Amethyst. Why didn't you bubble it? Amethyst shrugged. Welcome to Shrug City. Don't move, Pearl shouted over the wind to them. Spinel, get Stephen somewhere safe. Spinel was about to reply, but a gust of sand enveloped around them. Within the eye of the sandstorm, Stephen ended up alone, and he cried, Spinel, help! Where did you go? His attention was then turned to the desert glass and sat on top of the sand pillar. Stephen realized what he had to do. There it is, a pillow. Though I have to get it off the sand. The boy ran up to the flight of sand stairs before it crumbled and he hopped down onto the raising pillar. When Stephen realized what he had to do, once outside, Garnet smashed her gunnets against the sand to a no avail. This wall's not moving. Pearl held up her hand over her eyes. We just gotta get through before things get... Amethyst lunged out onto the air from the pillar and yelled as loud as she could as she spun around, the sand whipping around Pearl and Gunnet. Spinel, on the other hand, covered her eyes with the sand and hand, and of course whipping back and forth frantically, and walked through the blowing sand. Stephen! A large familiar shape zoomed under her, revealing to be a lion. She could only gasp in surprise as the lion leapt through the sandstorm and landed outside of it, knocking her off and jumping into the sand vortex again. And Spinel sat up, worried. Was Stephen to be continued to hop from one crumbling column to another, and almost reaching the desert glass? But before he could reach it, the struggle came crumbling down, and he screamed when he saw that there were spikes at the bottom. He shut his eyes, and not seeing the large figure catching him. Opening his eyes, Stephen could see that he was on the lion's back. "Lion!" he cheered as they landed from away from the spikes. "You didn't come here to steal a pillow. You came here to protect us from it." The lion growled in agreement, the desert glass continuing to create more erecting sand structures. "It's there," Stephen pointed at the pillow. "It's putting up the defenses. How are we going to get up there?" Lion let out a loud roar, and creating a pink sound waves, declimating enough spikes to make it to a clear path. "Yep, sounds good," Stephen nodded. "Let's go." Stephen then held into the lion's mane, and the lion leapt towards the tower. Blocked by 3 more pillars, another powerful roar knocked down over, and the lion made a sprint on top of the column. "Now, lion!" Stephen called, and the lion roared loudly, breaking into the wall and emerging out. With Stephen holding this pillow, he outstretched his arms, and almost as if he was flying. The sandstorm had finally disappeared and the structures fell. The lion roughly landed into the sand, and Stephen tumbled off, holding the pillow close. Garnet and Amethyst and Spinel and Pearl all popped their heads out of the sand. Stephen chuckled nervously at them. A bit later, Pearl bubbled the pillow and went away. "We should have done this in the first place." Amethyst rolled her eyes. "In my defense, I forgot." "Oh, thank you, Spinel cried happily, hugging the lion and squeezing him a bit. "Thank you for saving my baby." The lion growled a bit. However, Stephen looked sad. "So, I guess it's goodbye, lion. We had good times, but I'm sure you have another magical stuff to smash with your magical boys and gems." Spinel frowned a bit, but then got an idea and hid behind the lion, her fingers moving the lion's lips, speaking in a silly voice. "Oh, but Stephen, I want to stay with you forever." Stephen grasped happily. "Really? You guys heard that?" Pearl raised an eyebrow. "Are we really going to keep that?" We kept Amethyst," stated Garnet. Pearl paused and began to laugh hysterically. "Kept Amethyst? Oh, Garnet, that's priceless." Spinel laughed along with her, and Amethyst not really caring. "Yay, lions!" Stephen said as he moved the lion's eyelids to make him wink. Wink!